Yo, what's going on, yo? I'm JBHOOPS, and today I'm doing a little breakdown of Gregory Jackson's game and giving my thoughts on what he's been doing through the first 10 games of the season. I've really liked what I've seen from GG. He's still just 17 years old and his skill set makes him a very intriguing prospect. Through the first 10 games of the season, he's put up some very impressive numbers, averaging 17.4 points per game along with 6.8 rebounds and 2.2 of them being offensive, as well as almost a steal and over a block per game, shooting 43.4% from the field and a very solid 36.7% from 3. And now let's just get right into some of the specifics of his game and what makes him such a special talent. Starting off with his athleticism, which allow him to do everything he does on the floor, Gregory Jackson II is a phenomenal athlete. He's explosive going up for dunks and finishes inside and blocking shots on the defensive end. He has impressive burst to beat his defender off the bounce, and he takes long strides when attacking downhill. But what is most impressive at his 6'10 stature is his fluidity and quickness on both ends of the floor. Gregory Jackson commonly shows his ability to create advantages for himself off the bounce when attacking the rim. His face-up game is impressive and his first step is far too quick for bigs to contain. When he gets downhill, he has great footwork and body control and solid touch to finish around the basket with either hand. He still needs to bulk up a bit as he can be pushed off balance on his drives a little bit too easily, but he's so young and definitely has the frame to put on a lot of size. I would also like him to get a bit lower on his drives. He can be a little stiff and upright, which allows defenders to recover and affect his shot. And he also doesn't get to the line as much as you'd want him to, but I think when he puts on some size and gets more confident, that won't be an issue at all. GG gets a fair amount of his points off rim runs, putbacks, cuts, and general effort plays. He does a good job of staying active off the ball. He tracks the ball well off the rim and makes an effort to gain positioning inside so he can get a lot of easy putbacks. He's also a pretty smart cutter. He attacks openings in the defense and attracts attention, so even if he doesn't get the ball initially, he can seal inside or draw defenders away from shooters. But he also doesn't probably get as many points as he should in these ways because his guards aren't great at getting the ball to him. Because if you watch him on film, he's great at sealing inside and really makes an effort, just doesn't get the ball when he probably should. But his motor is excellent and that's one thing I really like about him. GG also showcases his handle and self-creation potential on pull-ups, showing his ability to create separation off the bounce and stop on a dime to rise into a shot. He has been cast into a very difficult role for anyone to play, let alone a 17-year-old. Quite frankly, his team is bad. The spacing is terrible, his team struggle to set him up for good looks, and as a result he's adopted quite a heavy offensive load, which then leads to poor shot selection and some bad turnovers. Jackson receives a ton of defensive attention, and because he's quite raw and hasn't yet been able to consistently utilize his physical tools to create advantages, a lot of possessions end up resulting in tough, contested pull-ups, and he is quite inefficient on these shots. I also think that due to his lack of hip flexibility, at times he can struggle to change direction or decelerate, which allows the defender to recover, and this also impacts him on the defensive end of the floor as well. But there are still a lot of self-creation flashes that look amazing. Yes, there are some pretty ugly possessions and forced shots, but I think with a better context, GG will thrive, so I'm quite high on his self-creation upside. Now moving on to his shooting. I definitely wasn't expecting Gregory Jackson to be anywhere near the shooter he has been through 10 games this season. He has pretty smooth mechanics and NBA range, and he gets good elevation on his shot, but at this point is mainly a spot-up guy. When he's shooting off the catch, I feel like it's going in every time, but if he's moving into it or takes a shot off the dribble, he has some issues with his balance and getting square to the cup, which can lead to some pretty bad misses. But to be honest, his three-point shot has kind of been a revelation this year. He shot a couple threes in EYBL and was respectable from there, but he's been launching threes at a much higher rate at the collegiate level, just under 5 attempts a game, and knocking them down at a very solid 36.7% clip. I think his touch is pretty good, but I would like to see him shoot it better from the line. He's at just 66.7% as of now, but I think hopefully as the season progresses and he gets the line more, that might go up. But overall, his shooting has really impressed me. He's a for real floor spacer, and if that stays consistent, that's definitely going to help his draft stock. Now moving on to the defensive side of the ball, I really like Gregory Jackson's upside as an on-ball defender. He has excellent hands, is coordinated, and can slide with quicker players. He's super mobile and quick enough to switch onto guards and use his length and strength to his advantage. But he also has the strength to guard some forwards and even potentially play some small ball 5, where he's able to beat his man to a spot and absorb contact through his chest really well. I think he's also shown he can be an effective help defender. He can block shots, has great timing and instincts, and he's really quick off the floor. The self-reported 6'10" wingspan is a little underwhelming, but he might be still growing. And also off the ball, he's good at navigating screens and chasing shooters, and he's also a great rebounder to end possessions. Overall, I think GG Jackson could potentially be a really good defender, but where he's got to improve the most is his consistency off the ball. He has far too many lapses, especially as a low man, whether it be losing track of his man, getting caught out of position, overhelping, not helping at all, or just ball watching and falling asleep. Now, it's not super concerning, and I think it's more of an effort or load thing than it is processing, so hopefully it will get better, but it's definitely something to monitor right now. Another area GG Jackson could improve in is with his playmaking and decision making. Jackson's a good ball mover and has very solid vision, but at times he's just a split second slow to make a read, find an open teammate, or see help coming. His context does exacerbate this as defenses often load up on him, but he has to be better at kicking out to shooters when defenses collapse on him. Also, at times he can get a little bit panicky in tight spaces, but with how defenses play him, he's got to start anticipating the help and doubles and processing a little bit quicker. Now, it's definitely not all bad at all. He has made some really good plays and will often make a good pass, but his teammates will just fumble the finish. But with his size and athletic advantage over the majority of matchups, he could be better at finding his open teammates. So I'll definitely be paying attention to how his passing and decision making fare over the course of the season. Now, to wrap it up, I kind of want to talk about his draft range and my projections for the future. Gregory Jackson II has been thrown in the deep end, tasked with a difficult primary role, and despite the expected struggles with turnovers, poor shot selection, and some missed reads, I think GG has displayed a ton of flashes which make him a super intriguing prospect. I also think it's much more likely in the NBA GG is a big wing who can finish plays and take on a secondary creation role, but he's only 17 years old and so skilled already, so he definitely could develop into a primary in the league. He's super talented and a much better shooter than I expected, and he just has so much room to grow. I think he should be a top 10 pick and potentially even closer to top 5, and I'll be dropping my big board probably in the next week or so stay tuned for that. But that is all I got for this GG Jackson breakdown. Let me know if you liked the video, comment what you think down below, subscribe for more. Sorry for my 2-month absence, I'll be back and more consistent with it from now on, and I appreciate if you made it to the end of the video. Anyway, that's all I got. JBHOOPS